Day check-in.
I bet you wonder how it is that you forget so much of Sweet Life, so many different characters you don't remember, like Nia or Skipper. It's because our memories like to repress bad episodes. Yeah, so this is more of a non-profit video. Please excuse my hair, or what do they say in school, PEMDAS? Or I guess PEMDAH? Yeah, I'm working on it, okay? Like my hair, I just need a haircut, okay? Leave me alone. I'm super excited to start this new series where I'm breaking down and ranking every single episode of a teen TV show, and I really wanted to start with Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I don't know why. You know, like at first I was like, let me do Drake and Josh, but I was like, I guess 40 episodes is not enough to rank, so I was stupid and went for The Sweet Life, which has 87 full episodes. And Sweet Life is interesting because they have a lot of really classic episodes, a lot of really forgettable episodes, but also a lot of hidden gem episodes, ones that you wouldn't really even have appreciated when they came out, but now you might be like, wow, I really gotta give that a revisit. So jumping into all 87 of them in one place, I thought would be a lot of fun. What's up, everybody? It's Johnny 2000, focusing on 2000s TV, movies, media, and so much more. If you're not subscribed already, please make sure Johnny 2000 is at the top of your priority list. And I'm talking about overtaking a shower. If you're not subscribed to me before you take a shower this morning, what are you really doing? Instead of doing the usual SA rank tiers that other people on YouTube are doing, I kind of wanted to work my way backwards and break them off into separate sections, from bad to forgettable to decent to classic to the top 10 best. So sit down because we're about to have a sweet life. You'll notice that there's not 87 numbers on this list, mainly because I forgot one, so I left it toward the end. But I liked the episode so much, I saved it for like the end of the top 10 to kind of look back on later as like a surprise. But that's the only reason why the numbers aren't really adding up. And Sweet Life Goes Hollywood is a 2-part episode, but I counted it as one just for the sake of this video. So first, we're going to go through the bad episodes. These are the episodes I just genuinely cannot defend and feel like are not, I don't know, just all around not a good representation of the Sweet Life. Like, these are the episodes I'm talking about that you would watch and click off the TV. And I'm telling you, like, I wish I could have done it, but I did it for you guys. And I know I'm kind of like a military hero because I'm watching all these, but please save your compliments for the bottom, the comment section. That's a weird way to put it, the bottom. I'm not a big fan of orchestra. Sure, it's not as good as the other episodes. It is cool that we have Zack and Cody actually being a part of the school band, but I feel like we already got them in theater. That was interesting enough, and this feels a little unnecessary. Maybe Barbara, you could argue, like, that plot line is really interesting, and London's B-plot is hilarious, but otherwise this episode doesn't do anything interesting. There's something about it that feels a little dull and lifeless. Like, I don't know, it's definitely a big dud in the 3rd season, as if the 2nd season depression had crossed over to the 3rd. But hey, that's really good to say that this is the only episode that does that in the 3rd season. Okay, so the final one is Birdman of Boston. I put it at number 83 because it is one of the most boring episodes of Sweet Life I've ever experienced. It's the one where Cody is essentially a mother to this baby bird, but they don't really joke about him being a mother. They just kind of have it be this like preachy storyline about zoos, and Mosby's an evil villain, which is kind of cool, but overall kind of a waste of an episode. A Kept Man is when Zack and Cody meet this really rich kid, and he essentially makes them choose between each other and him. And it's about wealth and poor, and it's just not interesting. A lot of the jokes aren't funny, and this new kid is kind of a brat, so you don't really like him. Something about this middle of season 2 boring stuff, like, I don't understand why they had such a weird slump in the middle of the show. Have a Nice Trip number 81 is also like that, where basically new people come to the Tipton, but they're actually trying to create a false lawsuit. And it's really funny because Maddie dresses up as this like massage lady, and it's disgusting, but overall this one is just so boring. I feel like some of the worst of Sweet Life is just boring episodes. Except number 80, Mr. Tipton Comes to Visit is really annoying because it's literally a clip show, and it is the finale. I've talked about this on my channel before, but it's very frustrating when the final episode of your show isn't another story from the show, but a clip show of stories you already told. Come on, guys, get better than that. I've complained about number 79 a bunch of times. Books and birdhouses. Like, we have a lot of episodes that take place at school, whether for one reason or another, like Ask Zack takes place in the school newspaper. We have a whole episode about orchestra. There's a lot to be had at the school environments, but this one was not it. I mean, it's cool that they flipped a premise on its head where Cody is actually bad at school and Zack is good, but it's just boring. Honestly, like, I couldn't laugh at like a single joke in this episode. Something about it just feels off, and I would be able to normally ground it in the fact that it's like a Sweet Life episode, but we're not even like at the hotel for a majority of it. I mean, Maddie and London are really funny at this era of the show, but it doesn't make up for the fact that this one just it's a dud. I just gotta call it a dud. At number 78, we have Boston Tea Party, and this one just feels like a history lesson. It is the definition of what I think is wrong with the second season. The only reason it's higher than the other ones are because it's kind of funny watching these characters in an old-timey setting. I don't know what about it, it's just pleasant. But yeah, please, Sweet Life, do not give me an educational lesson. Like, I just got home from school to watch you. I don't want to feel like I'm back in it again. And it's like all the production that must have gone into this episode is ridiculous. You couldn't have taken your time to make it a lot more funny, like, instead of educational. I don't know. To me, it's just a waste of time. And then at number 77, I Want My Mummy. And the only reason this one's a little bit far back on the list is because it feels a little out of character for Sweet Life. I do like that it's like a museum exhibit coming in. Esteban is worried about spirits because of his family and culture, which is definitely really interesting. But for the most part, it's everybody trying to get to this mummy. I feel like the fact that we have this new bellhop is kind of annoying. Like, he's barely in like 2 or 3 episodes. And just all the characters attacking this one situation just doesn't really go anywhere. And the B plot is just London trying to start her own business. And that also, I don't know, all around, this is a personal taste, specifically this one. I know a lot of people like this episode, but it's not working on me. Then we jump to season 1, which is funny because they don't have a lot of really horrible episodes at the end of this list. They're more so earlier in the average tier. But Christmas at the Tipton is one of my least favorites, especially in the first season, because it just feels like it doesn't really have to do with the show. It's like a holiday episode, but not any of the characters are wrapped around it. It focuses on a couple that come into the Tipton, so all around kind of a waste of an experience for me. But then we have an actual reason to not like number 75, Health and Fitness. This one is really weird in the message it's sending out. It's like London and Maddie shouldn't be thin or shouldn't be fat, and then Cody and Chef Paolo also are going on a diet. I don't know why Disney needs to do diet related episodes. It's a storyline that I'm not craving from this group. Number 74, Twins at the Tipton, is also not that interesting. It's about Zack and Cody trying to be going on a date with these French girls. And yeah, not a lot happens. I don't know what to say about it. Number 73 is Pilot Your Own Life, and this one's actually kind of funny because it has Cody trying to be a motivational speaker, but all around, it's pretty forgettable. I don't remember, like, anything else that happened in this episode until I saw it again. The Prince and the Plunger was also before Sweet Life really kicked into its stride. It's essentially Arwen's first episode, but it doesn't start out with that character as developed as we know him to be later in the series. It's just like an earlier episode that I feel like it didn't really figure out its voice yet from the show. Number 71, A Midsummer's Nightmare, is only this low on the list because of the fact it's pretty boring. It's a play about a play, and then they ended up doing the same concept in season 3, but better, so this kind of has no excuse. Selena Gomez is the only reason it's not like bottom of the tier. It's just cool that she was in this. Number 70 is the first one from season 3. I guess season 3 didn't have so many bad episodes, but Bench Warmers was not a fun one. I really don't like episodes about sports, which Sweet Life does have a lot of, and this one is the most boring out of all of them, so it had to be lower on the list. I'm not interested in seeing Zack learn how to get good at basketball. I mean, it's cool that Nia is a part of the plot at this point, because she wasn't in the beginning of the series, but all around a forgettable episode. Ask Zack is nothing special either. It honestly feels like a copy of the Drake and Josh episode where Josh was Miss Nancy. That's literally, they even use that term, Miss Nancy, and Zack uses it to woo a girl over. And it's not even like for a good reason, so I don't feel bad for for Zack. I don't feel good for anybody else. It's all around like not sending the right message. So Ask Zack is kind of no go for me. And hey, another Nurse Zack episode. That's crazy that we have two Zack episodes back to back at the bottom of the tier list. I don't know why it's just having this selfish character win in the end based on his negative intentions at the very beginning. It's just kind of annoying. I feel like a lot of those episodes definitely get lower on the tier for me. All around, I don't know. Nugget of History is actually the least boring episode, if that makes any sense. It's funny because we have Grandma Mosby, which is Mr. Mosby in a dress, but it's not even for like a funny reason. And it's cool that it has like insight on Black history, but it doesn't actually make itself a fun episode to watch in general. I pretty much forgot about it once I saw it. Season 3 comes back again with Foiled Again at number 66, and this is one of my least favorites from the third season. I just remember it constantly playing on Disney Channel, and it's not a fun episode. Like, it's funny to watch Cody go overboard with his environmentalist causes, which we see a lot in the Sweet Life on Deck as well. But here it's actually not that funny, and I feel like it could have been so easily, but there's not a lot to remember for it. What the Hey from Season 2, Episode 21 is when the boys skip school to go hang out at the mall, and it turns into this whole music video. It's just them running from Carrie the whole episode, and the twists aren't that interesting, and I feel like the music video bit goes on for just way too long. Neither a Borrower or Speller Bee at 64 makes a lot of sense because it's just not that fun either. It's another Zack episode, of course, and it's a bully threatening Zack to essentially do the right thing, and Zack does not do this out of the kindness of his own heart, and Cody pretty much almost loses the entire spelling bee, so it's kind of an unforgivable moment, but hey, it's the Sweet Life, I guess. Now, this next set of episodes are the forgettable episodes. For one reason or another, we don't remember these, and I do feel like that has to come into contact with how good they are. Like, sure, they're probably really good episodes, but the fact that they're forgettable are why they're going to be at the bottom of the tier, and it's only fair to put them like that. Volley Dad is also pretty interesting. It's when Carrie's actually dating again, which could be a really fun concept. Like, we don't see her dating a lot, and it's cute when the boys try to be protective of their mother, but all around, like, nearly get as fun as it should get. I feel like a lot of the dad episodes featuring him is higher up on the tier list, but this one isn't so great. The dad ends up liking Carrie's new boyfriend, so there's not really a lot of conflict outside of the boys. Super Twins is just so hyper unrealistic. I don't know why. I just didn't have fun revisiting it. That's on me, though. I get that. That's like a personal opinion. This episode is just not interesting. Number 61 is Cody Goes to Camp from Season 1, and this one's only really famous for the car sequence with Mr. Mosby in London, but for the most part, the rest of the episode is boring, so none of it really amounts to anything. I forgot about this except for the meme, so it's unfortunate. Who's the Boss is number 60. This is when Cody and Zack are working at the Bargain Mart in Season 3, and Zack is pretty much Cody's boss. Yeah, another Zack episode, and this one didn't stand out to me at all. It's just him being a jerk. Number 59, we're back to kind of the boring episodes. Daycare is crazy. The beginning of Season 2, they had like some misses, and this one happened to be the one with Moises Arias, and I'm so sad about that, because like Rico from Hannah Montana, that should be awesome, but they just play a bunch of rotten kids that run throughout the hotel, and the main characters have to essentially round them up, and the episode is way less funnier than you think, and I don't know, I'm just not happy the way it went. Number 58 is Miniature Golf, and this one is another Zack episode. I don't know where to go with this, but he essentially is super sexist in this episode and is like, yeah, my girlfriend cannot be stronger than me, and that's kind of the end of that for him. Number 57 might be controversial, Risk It All. It's the entire episode that takes place on a game show. It's Carrie, Cody, and Zack, and basically no other characters in the show. Although it is kind of funny how it all takes place and they lose all their money, but all around, like, not a great episode. One of the last ones that are, like, at the bottom of the tier is number 56, Sink or Swim, and this is one of my least favorites out of Season 3, but for the rest of them, I love Season 3. But yeah, this one is not that fun. It's about Lance and London, and Maddie's kind of in it, but it's all about them talking from a phone distance, so it doesn't get that interesting. A Prom Story is about Maddie, and it's really early in the series. I feel like they didn't have their stride on the jokes super well, so this one kind of fell flat for me. I mean, it's nice to see Maddie, like, being a cool person, get to know her as a character, but all around, kind of forgettable. So yeah, number 56 is Boston Holiday, and this is when they have a super rich kid from another country visit the US, and Zack and Cody essentially steal him, introduce him to all these American cultures, and it's essentially making fun of both cultures, so I didn't think anybody won in that scenario. So I had to put this as forgettable. And then we're going to go to the episodes I consider decent that didn't necessarily stand out for any particular reason. The next chunk of episodes we have, I would consider the decent episodes. Not like the prominent, like I want to show these to you because you'll love this series, but they're decent. I'm going to call them the decent section, and it represents what the Sweet Life is without necessarily doing anything special, and not... Okay, now everybody's going to obliterate me for saying this, but That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana is not that great of a crossover. If you saw any of my other videos, I heavily critiqued this a lot of times, so without saying too much, I just think it was underwhelming. I definitely put it in the decent episode category because I definitely think it was worth it. It was such a great experience, but honestly, like, the lack of Hannah Montana is not that fun. All the expectations that the promos and Disney Channel set up did not really fulfill my appetite for what this show could have been. And this is saying this with the Sweet Life part being the best part of it all. So yeah, that's gotta be saying something. Cooking with Romeo and Juliet is number 52 because it's really funny. I feel like it's one of the earlier season 1 episodes that actually did find its stride. Mainly because Zack and Cody get into a fight in the kitchen while all this hotel hijinks are going on. Like, it's core Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I'm not gonna like hype it up as if it's like this best episode ever, but it does good for what it is. And I feel like the show would be missing something if this wasn't a part of it. So yeah, this one is not too bad. Don't you see all these decent ones are actually starting to pick up the pace? I definitely put it after That's So Sweet Life because it actually is authentic and trying to be what the show set out to do and not this big commercial production. At 51, we have Election, and I actually did a whole video on all the Election episodes of TV shows. You should definitely go check that out. But this one was actually pretty funny. Arwen's involvement is the most unnecessary but awesomest part of this episode. It's all about Zack and Cody going against each other for class president. Sure, a basic concept, but they do it pretty funny, and having this whole speech at the end where Cody comes in literally flying is priceless, so I gotta let this one be higher up on the list, especially higher than That's So Sweet Life. I'm gonna keep saying it, guys. The next one is just straightforward endearing. It's Free Tippy, Season 2, Episode 5 is at number 50. In this episode, there's a horse that is essentially getting fired and going to be sent somewhere. Zack and Cody don't know where, but they actually care about this horse, and it's a part of their daily lives, so they want to have a say in where he's going. They end up stealing the horse and actually bringing it throughout the hotel, and it gets lost, and it's all the hijinks that I kind of wanted in the episode of Daycare that we were talking about earlier. It actually fulfills all it's set out to do. However, it is a little still boring, so it has to go in the decent section because I don't think it's anything remarkable. Number 49, we got Footloser. Oh, I can't even believe earlier season 1 episodes are like getting this high on the list. This is cool because obviously Allison Stoner's a part of this. She was such a big aspect of the beginning of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Kind of sad that she wasn't like there toward the ending half, but what can you do? The twisted part of this episode is Zack and Cody actually pretend to be each other, and nobody believes them at all, and I don't know, that concept is really funny to me. The gimmick of them actually having to put on a performance is hilarious, especially the fact that it's a dance show. Like, neither Zack or Cody are good at dancing, and the fact that Allison Stoner could be good at dancing and sports is actually kind of a brag, I would say, but not nearly as good as number 48, Loosely Ballroom, and this is from season 2, episode number 25, and this is about Esteban, surprisingly. He is going to compete in a dance competition to win money, and it's like this whole inspirational episode where it's like a bunch of rejects get together who don't know how to dance and finally win the competition. You feel like it's a lot more about Zack and Cody until the episode ends up being more about Esteban, and it's a nice surprise, especially since Carrie gets a main role, Mr. Mosby has a main role. It's everybody outside of their comfort zones in a really funny way, so I feel like it kind of one-ups Footloser, that last episode, in that sense. Next, we have Band in Boston at number 47, and this is just such a generic plot line. Like, of course, the main characters form a band, and it had to be the beginning of Sweet Life. This is season 1, episode 9, and it's really early in it. It almost feels like it's not a Sweet Life episode, but it does do a really good job at the jokes, and I feel like this song I cannot get out of my head, maybe because Ashley Tisdale's a good singer, but this was always memorable growing up. I feel like maybe it's a nostalgic lens, so you guys can feel free to argue with me in the comments. But Band of Boston, I definitely say was decent. A little bit better than Footloose, but I don't know, we could keep going. This next one I've complained about in the past. It's season 3, episode 11 of Clocks and Contracts, number 46. It's a Zack-centric episode, so you know you're gonna get me being a little bit biased. A lot of this episode is Zack negotiating for Carrie, and I feel like it's one of his better solo episodes. Like, he's so funny and interacting with Carrie that I remember watching this episode and being like, why is he saying all this? The fact he even gets her to lose her job and like somehow turn it around is it's gold. I feel like this is a really good one. I would put it up higher on the list, but I think everything after this is even better. Like, Sweet Life really starts sweetening up as it goes on. Going for the gold is a cool one because it's an Arwen-centric episode. I feel like it's one of the least good Arwen-centric episodes. That's why it's like so far down on the list, because Arwen is just hilarious. Like, we'll see a lot of his episodes coming up on the higher ranks, but for now, this one was kind of the more boring Arwen episode for me. It wasn't bad, like, don't get me wrong, like, I feel like having the whole concept of Arwen versus Irv trying to get a kiss from Carrie and Zack and Cody trying to stop Irv from cheating is a really good premise, and having the boys fight for something good is definitely a good change of pace, because up until this point in the series, they're just kind of troublemakers, and now they're starting to develop a little bit more of a moral compass. So yeah, going for the gold shakes it up in a really fun way. And then we got Let Us Entertain You from season 3, episode 21. This one is really funny because obviously we see the Sweet Life on deck before we're actually on deck. It's in the original show. I can't even like fathom this. When I was little, I was like, wait, is this the Sweet Life on deck? I could not figure a way around it. It's kind of cruel the way Zack and Cody treat their mom in this episode, essentially bringing her on the ship just to work for them to have a good time, and you really feel bad for Carrie and look down at the boys. The fact that this is like the very end of the series is the part that really bothers me the most. I feel like I would put it so much higher on the list if it even incorporated a little bit more of the characters, but it feels like a really weird way to leave season 3 knowing that you're gonna do the Sweet Life on deck. I could go on about this topic for a while, but you guys get what I'm saying. Number 43 is Dad's Back from season 1. This is a fun introduction episode to Kurt. He's in it a couple times in the first season, and I really admire how the Sweet Life does such a good job at portraying divorced couples, and like how Zack and Cody kind of deal with the fact that they're living with their mom but not their dad, but he's still present. Like, that's a really unique premise, and this guy is so funny. I don't know why, just the fact that he's like a rock star and the contrast between him and Carrie, it's just a really good dynamic, and I feel like this is one of the less interesting episodes involving him, but you'll see a lot more as we keep going. Then we have Lost in Translation, number 42. This is from season 2, and this is when the show gets like borderline offensive. Like, it is pretty much making fun of the Japanese culture in this episode, where Zack, Cody, and Carrie end up on stage by the end of the episode with culturally pretty different makeup on, and it's a shock all around, but I had to put it higher up on the list because 1, it's really funny, 2, it's really funny, and 3, do I care about anything else? No, it's funny. I just think the gall they had to have made this episode is so 2000s, so I just kind of had to put it earlier. I definitely don't think it has a lot of merit outside of being like more of a shocking episode, so I'm putting it this far down the list, but you guys know what I'm saying. At number 41, we have Club Twin. This is where Zack and Cody actually open up a club just for themselves, and they work with the Tipton to actually make it happen. It's kind of an impressive episode, kind of like Phineas and Ferb in the way that it's like an idealistic experience. Like, Zack and Cody literally could not run their own club, but they do, and this episode makes me feel like I could do anything, and along with some of the funny jokes in it, it's just a fun experience. Definitely getting better in the mid-season slump of Sweet Life Season 2. Number 40 is Hex Kitchen, which was season 2, episode 4. Very early on to them getting their stride in the sophomore season. I would say like a little bit past all the boring episodes I list before. Hex Kitchen is a bunch of chaos with Zack, Cody, and all the main cast fumbling around the kitchen of the Tipton, trying to make Chef Paolo's gorgeous dishes. And it doesn't really work out, as you can imagine, and it's really good the way the comedy plays out in this. I like seeing every character wrapped into the same plot. They don't do this a lot on this show, so it's a little bit more unique than all the episodes I put on the list before it. So, had to call attention to Hex Kitchen. Sorry. Then we have Wilderness at number 39. This is the one where Mosby is the scout leader for the boys, and it's the boys and all their friends, and Mosby takes them out camping. I doubt the scenario would work out so well that's just Cody, Zack, and their best friends and the hotel manager, but we suspend our disbelief for this one and have a little bit of fun. Cody likes to pretend that he knows how to make it work in the wild, but Zack upstages him a lot of times. It reminds me of Cody Goes to Camp, where it's like them in the forest for a majority of the episode, but this one actually hones in on the character moments and isn't like in that early season 1 stumble. I'm just really happy the way this one plays out, especially given the episodes surrounding it in the middle of the second season. Like, they are just such a drag. I remember this was actually the first episode I started with on the third part of my Sweet Life season 2 retrospective, and at that point I was just so burnt out, so it's a miracle that this one livened me up a little bit. Number 38 is where the Zack episodes start getting really good. It's Summer of Our Discontent, and in this episode, Zack goes to summer school, meets all these wild characters, and sure, we jump away from all the characters we know and love, but we kind of, like, accept it because these new characters are so funny. I wish it wasn't just in this one single episode. That's, like, the only reason I feel like I put it in the decent section. Like, there's just a bunch of pet peeves of mine that get broken throughout this show, and that's why there's like a huge chunk. But this one's really fun energy. Especially since they have that whole plot line going on in season 3 where Zack didn't actually graduate, so he had to do summer school. Like, they do a good job at continuity throughout the third season. That's probably why, like, I'm really opening up to it. Number 37 is Maddie Checks In, and I'm a sucker for storytelling, and I wanted to give season 1 some love a little bit earlier. Maddie's first real episode about her, and she's like pretending to be super rich and snotty, getting advice from London. It's just nice to have one of the earlier episodes focus on one of the side characters. I mean, not even a side character. You know Maddie's not a side character. So yeah, this one does a good job at establishing her as her own individual character, and you could tell. That's why I like put this a little bit higher. This isn't necessarily a comedy beat for me. It's just me like appreciating the show. Number 36 is French 101, and this is where we introduce the French girls. There's like a French convention at the Tipton, and Zack and Cody both try to speak French with this one French girl, and they both have a crush on her, and they're trying to compete for her, but she only speaks French. And that is such a funny plot. This episode is higher on the list because it's the one where London actually beats up a mugger in Boston. Like, that's such a crazy concept that London is like one of the strongest characters. I wish it came up more than once, but this episode's good enough. I had so much fun with this episode. And then we have number 35, season 3, episode 1, Graduation. Probably one of my least favorite season opener episodes, so I had to put it way back before season 2 and season 1. But Graduation feels like a majority Zack episode, but Cody has a lot riding in this. Like, he is the valedictorian, so we don't really forget about him most of the time. But for the most part, this episode is Zack trying to blend in and convince everybody he graduated. I feel like I had to put it lower on the list because of how hyper unrealistic this scenario could be. Like, I don't know why he would get away with fully tricking his parents and walking down to get his diploma. Like, why? And then we have number 34, Arwenstein. This is the second Halloween episode, aside from, the Ghost of 613 that everybody knows and loves. Arwenstein is definitely underrated. I feel like I'm more of an apologist because I feel bad for how much everybody obsesses over the first Halloween special. But another Arwen episode, it's really funny. And seeing Arwen's invention go wrong, like it usually does. But this is a whole episode dedicated to it. So it does a good job at being unique from the other episodes with Arwen. That's why I just kind of had to put it up here. Obviously, we'll have some more coming up, but stay tuned. Number 33 is season 2, episode 10, Not So Sweet 16. And this is when London and Maddie are essentially the main A-plot. It's Very rare, honestly. There's a lot of season 2 episodes where they're the B plot, but this is like them fully taken over, and Zack and Cody are wrapped into their plot. It does a really good job at being a unique episode in that sense, and they actually teach a pretty good moral lesson. That's why I had to like put it up higher on the list. And with Maddie and London actually empathizing with each other by the end of the episode, and coming to terms with the fact that they're so different, but they need to appreciate each other. More so, London needs to appreciate poorness. That's a common theme that she does not learn for the next 3 years, but okay. Yeah, this one's just one of the best. Then number 32, we have the pilot, Hotel Hangout. And this is where I'm gonna switch from decent episodes to classic episodes. Literally, this is when The Sweet Life is bread and butter. Constant comedy, good episodes, and I'm excited to dive into this half of the video. The pilot just gets points because it wasn't the first episode filmed, but it was the first one in airing order, and I think it was a very smart choice to put this as the first, because we get introduced to all the characters in a perfect scenario where Zack and Cody are trying to fit into school and using the hotel to their advantage. One of the most obvious plots I feel like the show could have done, and did it right away. That is a really impressive way to do a pilot, and I applaud Disney for doing it. I have to give them points. This is a good one. Now, these next set of episodes I consider classics, where they're hitting it on all strides in the way Sweet Life should. And I'm pretty proud to say that there is like a good chunk of 20 episodes that I would consider this like pure golden era. We get a lot of season 2s, a lot of season 3s, but stick around because we're going to the top 10 soon. Then we got one of the really funny ones in season 1, episode 4, Hotel Inspector. So this is the one where we're introduced to the competing hotel of The Sweet Life, and it's so funny that there's a competitive hotel to actually fight the Tipton. Like, I feel like it would have been so crazy if they did this on The Sweet Life on Deck. Like, they had like another boat and they had to do a boat duel. I guess maybe just that funny concept is the reason why this episode's so high up. I mean, this character is really funny, the new introduction, and Mr. Mosby trying to fight against her is really good. That's why it's like a classic episode to me. Number 30 is Team Tipton, and this one, I really am a sucker for ensemble episodes that tell a really good, cohesive plot. This one is a little bit further into season 3, pretty close to the end of Zack and Cody, and you could feel it, but they still give one last really hilarious performance altogether. Like, I feel like the cast is pretty spread out throughout this last season, but this episode did a good job at bringing them all together for one really funny plot line, which is all of them trying to get along as a group. And of course, it has to be so far into their relationships that they're really not good with handling each other. Like, oh my gosh, Zack and Cody is just so funny. And yet, it's an episode where they're like not in it as much, so what? Then number 29 is season 1, episode 24, Crushed. So in this one, it's actually about a girl having a crush on Zack and Cody, and they don't really like her back. It's really funny because her name's Agnes, and she's definitely like a really good recurring character. I'm happy she comes back as many times as she does, especially in season 1. It's like very welcome and hilarious. It's a mad hotel, and this one is just up here because I really like Muriel having a whole episode where there's like a little flashback of what they were like when they were younger. It's a funny concept in theory, although it's not like the best executed. It's pretty much the main cast running around the hotel trying to find this supposed treasure. And that's a really fun idea for Sweet Life, especially this early on in the series. They weren't really doing stuff like that. So yeah, this is a really good episode. Number 27 is not as intense as the past couple ones. This is just pure comedy. It's when Zack and Cody see a horror movie and then they start sleepwalking because they can't handle how scared they are. That is so me. I just had to put it earlier in this list. I'm sorry if you guys don't agree with me, but I just had to put that out there. Number 26 is Poor Little Rich Girl. This is just another genuinely good episode. Maddie and London pretty much get super close in the first season and actually see each other's, points of view when it comes to wealth and how they define like a good time. London loses all of her money, and them in the A-plot is surprisingly really good. I wish the show revolved around them a little more than it did just the boys, because these episodes are some of the best classics. The next is number 25, A Tale of Two Houses, and I really like this one because it is classic sitcom. Like, as good as a normal sitcom episode, Zack and Cody are doing it right. So in this one, they find out that their dad is actually living closer to them, and they take advantage of him using his apartment to both go on dates. It almost feels like a mature episode in the sense that there's a lot of kissing involved. They talk about girlfriends. Like, Zack and Cody really mature between season 1 and 3, and that's why I just had to put it higher up on this list. It's one of the better episodes of season 3, I feel like, but there's even more. I don't even know how to get into that. Number 24 is To Catch a Thief, and I feel like this gets a lot of merit because it's the first time in early season 1 that we see Zack and Cody actually do something super meaningful. They actually catch a thief, and I mean, I don't even know what more to say than that. Number 23 is Kisses and Basketball, and this is Zack and Allison Stoner episode. Yeah, this one actually is kind of cool because I feel like they're telling a really good story of like a guy having a crush on a girl but then not necessarily knowing how to deal with it and all the miscommunications that come with it. And Allison and Zack don't even end up together. They go on a date and feel kind of peer pressured to be a couple, but it kind of doesn't work out. And I feel like watching it at the time, it really taught me that like there's a difference between a relationship and a friendship, and while things are a little bit foggy in your younger years, and it's a great early on lesson. Number 22 is good just because no other sitcom has done this. Back in the Game is about them doing a handicapped wheelchair competition, and everybody basically has to play in wheelchairs. It's really cool because it's like got a moral behind it about treating handicapped people like equals, and that's something we really don't even talk about today. Like, this is such a good episode to actually have happen, and the fact that it's super funny is even crazier. Like, I don't know how this episode hit everything on all strides, being in the middle of the longest season of Zack and Cody, but it did a good job, and the guest star is super funny. It's actually a guy in a wheelchair, and we get Freddie from iCarly, so what else can you ask for? Then we got number 21, Romancing the Phone. This one's funny just in the fact that Jaden Smith is in it. It's season 3, episode 11, and I'm just so flabbergasted. It's Zack and Cody taking advantage of this kid to teach them how to do all these things to impress girls, and Jaden Smith is a super cultured, like really all-around good kid that is pretty isolated and doesn't have a lot of friends, so he lets Zack and Cody pretty much use him. By the end of the episode, there's kind of like a moral compass where the boys end up choosing to hang out with him as opposed to go with their dates, so that's kind of nice, right? Then we have Mosby's big brother, and this one is interesting because I'm a big mental health guy, so talking about resentment is really interesting, especially when it goes with Zack and Cody. One of the cool things that I like put it so high up on the list is it's early in season 2. So I don't know if they were guessing or what, but they just somehow put a really amazing episode in the middle of the second season without like fully knowing their characters quite yet. And Mosby having a similar situation with his brother than Zack and Cody is really interesting. I'm starting to notice how many times Mr. Mosby has his family come to visit. I wish they did that more on The Sweet Life on Deck, but hey, dreams die, right? Number 19 is The Sweet Smell of Excess. And this one, I love this one so much. It's when all the characters switch places. They have like this whole anti-trope where everybody's the opposite of themselves. Like London, Maddie, and sure, there's a lot of hyper-realistic situations where obviously they can't flip and go to a parallel universe, but they made it work in this one. It's different than Super Twins in the sense that it actually has a really good plot at the end. Number 18, we have The Ghost of Sweet 613. And this one is only up here because people would beat me up if I trashed this one. And yeah, it's kind of like my less exciting Halloween episode, but it does still have a genuinely good story. Like, I feel like it's just a good episode outside of being a Halloween episode, which is really important when people do Halloween episodes. So I'm just gonna put it higher up. You guys don't need me to talk about how much you like it, so I'm just gonna move on. Number 17, we have season 3, episode 6, Baggage. And this is the plot where Cody and Zack get a job. I'm not sure if you guys remember the Paul Revere mini mart, but that's a pretty significant thing that goes on in the 3rd season. And in this episode, they're basically having a baggage competition, something that I've only seen in like adult shows. I think it's funny to think that they would have like a competition like this. Kind of reminds me of Going for the Gold, but the fact that it stars Zack and Cody is a lot funnier. And I really like the manager at the Paul Revere mini mart. He is a card. At number Number 16, we have season 2, episode 6, Forever Plaid. And this one is another Maddie and London episode. One of the rare moments where we get to see these guys shine. It's when they both go to the Catholic school. Funny because it's London trying to go to the Catholic school, and they're like fitting in, and I don't know, I just like this a lot. Zack and Cody are dealing with a punishment in this episode, and they're peeping Toms, so I think the fact that they had such a controversial like plot line had to go earlier in this list. So yeah, Forever Plaid definitely deserves its rightful place at number 16. Whew! I'm getting sweaty because we're getting closer to the end of all this. I'm scared of what you guys are going to think of me when I tell you the final ones. Number 15 is Grounded on the 23rd Floor, and this is one of the better ones from season 1. We actually really get a good sense of what Zack and Cody can get into in this show, and yeah, I just have a lot of fun with them. Number 14 is season 3, episode 10, First Day of High School, and this sets the tone that Sweet Life of Zack and Cody should have stuck with for like the rest of the series, is them getting comfortable with high school. They only dealt with school issues like kind of passively up until this point, but the fact that you get to actually go into the new high school experience with Zack and Cody is a lot of fun, and I feel like it marks a turn of Disney Channel doing this in their shows where they have the middle school to high school transition, but after that, they don't really do it as much. It's just something I noticed. And number 13 is Smart and Smarterer, which is kind of weird because that's an unlucky number, one of my favorites though, and this one was actually a band episode. Yeah, I know I didn't include the 3rd season band episode, just I didn't really want to get into that, but season 1's band episode is really funny. It's Zack pretending that he has a learning disability, and I don't know why, that's just... When you do an episode that I've not seen on another show, like, often, that's when you get a lot of points for me. This one deserves to be really high up on this list. Then we have The Arwen That Came to Dinner, Season 3, Episode 11, and this is at number 12. I love the fact that we have an episode with Arwen staying at the kid's place. This was a really funny trope in comedies where it's like one character overstaying their welcome so much, and having it be Arwen is too perfect. I can't say enough about this episode. I would recommend this episode to anybody who doesn't know if they like The Sweet Life. Like, I feel like it would be a good example of it. Number 11 is Rockstar in the House, and this is the Jesse McCartney episode from season 1 where they actually started to establish that guest stars would be coming throughout this show, and Disney like did a really good job at pulling Jesse McCartney. I don't know how they got him to do this, but he plays a pretty good role in it, and all the characters have a moment with him. It's definitely one of the better guest star appearances throughout this show. Then we get to the top 10. These are everything above. It's like classic, funny, good story. Now these episodes are the best of the best. They're definitely something I would always recommend to one person or another, so please, I would love to know here if you think my opinions are relevant or you think I'm just crazy for this. So please comment below if you have opinions about it. These ones are like the top tier Sweet Life episodes. We start with number 10 being The Fairest of Them All, Season 1, Episode 2. And this is so crazy because it's early in the series. Actually, Victoria Justice was in this. Crazy to think that Teen Nick went to Disney Channel for a little bit. I don't even believe it, but yeah. This is the one where Cody pretends to be a girl to get into a beauty pageant and win this girl over, which is so funny and cute because he's so young, you know, like, it's like a 7th grade crush. It would be such a different story if this were, like, in high school and he were, like, dealing with a bigger issue, but this is a cute episode. It's not been done on a lot of sitcoms. It definitely triumphs a lot of the later episodes. It deserves its spot at number 10. Then, Season 1, Episode 15 is Rumors. Another season 1 that I think is just completely classic. I definitely made sure the season 1s were kind of at the latter half of the 10 episodes because, like I said, season 3 for me is peak Zack and Cody. But Rumors does a really good job at holding its own and, you know, beating the other episodes in season 1 because it focuses on like how a rumor can spread and everything that goes with that. And yeah, I think they did a really good job at like having it be a good social issue addressed episode and weaving Zack and Cody in it in a way that's not unnatural for its first season. Number 8 is Lip Syncin' in the Rain, Season 3, Episode 9. This one is the one that kind of parodies High School Musical, one of the last episodes in Season 3 that features Maddie. So Zack, Cody, Maddie, and London all take a big role in this, and there's only an A plot, there's no B story going on. It's them trying out for High School Musical at their local school. It's funny because obviously High School Musical 2 was coming out at the time, so almost for like its historical and cultural relevance, I had to put it at number 8. Like, It's such a good one. Then number 7, we have Aptitude. It's the final episode of season 2 of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and they really did save the best for last because Aptitude is a good episode. It's about Zack and Cody getting kind of insight onto their future based on this test they take in school, which is a super relatable experience. Like, I feel like they always made us do stuff like that in school, so I had to kind of put it higher on the list because not only is it funny, it's relevant, it's a part of Zack and Cody history. Like, this is just such a good one. Then we have season 2 episode 36, and this is like one of the underdogs. I feel like people forget a lot about this episode, or they don't even like it, but it's funny to me. It's a 2-part episode, the only one Sweet Life had, so I had to give it number 6. Sweet Life Goes Hollywood it's just so good at like making fun of itself and actually kind of pulling at the meta strings. I usually don't like it when shows acknowledge themselves, but they do a good job at not actually feeding into the exact show. You know, like Nickelodeon does such a bad job with this, but Sweet Life does a really good job with it. Number 5 is going to be Tipped Online, and this is funny because it's really diving into the social media and online culture. Like, London has a web show. Even iCarly didn't have a web show at this time. So the fact that Tipped Online actually dove into it and was funny, and like, it's such a weird time capsule because the way they talk about doing a web show and like having Cody be the producer and like all the drama going on with London. By the way, this is like a very genuine London episode too. Like, she learns from her mistakes, she apologizes to Cody, so there's like a lot of merit behind it in that sense. And I feel like a lot of people, if they put this on in front of them, they would definitely remember this episode, so I kind of had to give it this place for that reason as well. Then we have number 4, season 2, episode 13, Bowling. This one is another one that, like, I feel like everybody remembers. It's when the entire cast forms a bowling team and, you know, they have to compete with the other hotel. And it just has all the story tropes that I am after. You know, like, it has some good jokes. It has the underdog Arwen actually being the thing that separates the team from winning. It has Zack getting kicked off the team. There's drama. I don't know. They did a good job. There's a reason you remember this episode, and I just had to remind people that. The next one is kind of more my opinion. Season 3, episode 7, Sleepover Suite. And this is one of the episodes where they break London's bus, so Zack and Cody end up having to have this whole sleepover party with the help of Nia, the new candy girl, and they try to make back the money to rebuy the bust by the end of it. It's a classic trope, done super well, and surprisingly fits really good into the Tipton. Along with all the guest stars in this episode, I feel like it's not as out of place as Summer of Our Discontent, where Zack gets to know the new school kids, or Maddie has to get used to all these like emo kids at the summer camp. Like, this is the best ensemble episode of guest stars, so I had to put it up here because there's just too much talent in this episode to ignore. Then we have number 2, Odd Couples, the first episode of season 2, and they went into season 2 really doing a good job because, I don't know, they captured the episode perfectly. Like, Zack and Cody are at their peak comedy, bouncing off of each other. The fact that they turn their entire closet into a new suite is hilarious. We get to see all of their friends and this new era, and they are just at the top of their game. I don't know why. This episode is just so good. Then, at number 1, we have Commercial Breaks. Yeah, this one is an episode everybody talks about. It's because all the iconic moments are in this episode. Not only just clips from the theme song where we see Carrie, Cody, Mosby, and they have this huge dance number to make a commercial happen, but it's funny. It takes almost like all the concept of the Sweet Life Goes Hollywood and condenses it into one episode, along with the fact we get to see everybody at the Tipton auditioning for this commercial. We get like a frustrated director. Every character really shines and complements each other, and we even get Zack and Cody enough screen time where you don't even notice that they're missing. Okay, remember earlier when I said that the numbering was off because I forgot an episode or two? This was one of the ones I forgot. I'm offended that I forgot about Big Hair and Baseball from season 1. It is the episode where Mosby gets canceled, and I don't know why, I just find this hilarious. Like, the kids go to the ball game with Mr. Mosby, already a really weird scenario, but the fact that, like, he's having a good time, and then the entire town of Boston almost turns on him because of the sports aspect, That's just, I wish that was done in season 3 because it was still early on. But overall, like, this is a hidden gem. Like, I definitely think Sweet Life fans should go back and rewatch this episode because it is so funny, even till this day. But overall, yeah, Sweet Life had such a successful run. Oh, I can't believe we went through literally 87 episodes. I know there were some number glitches here and there where we couldn't really figure out, the two-part episode, or like I left out the other band episode, but you gotta work with me. I feel like you're just gonna listen to me talk about these shows forever. But I would love to know your opinion on what episodes I really missed out on, which episodes were like misplaced, and what could I do better next time. I really want to start doing ranking episodes a lot more because I feel like I'm able to cover the seasons in a way that is a lot more unique to me, as opposed to just going through one by one. Now, as you guys all know, I've covered every season of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody in different retrospects. Sure, my season 1 video isn't the best. I feel like there's a lot of glitches. It was when I was still figuring out how I wanted my channel to go the first year, so please feel free to comment on that. But the second season, the third season, I covered all individual seasons, and then I also do this thing at the end of every series where I combine all the retrospectives and make it like this bulk video about like 5 or 6 hours. I did it with Hannah Montana, I did it with Sweet Life, and Jimmy Neutron so far. But I really think you guys would like that if you liked this video or liked seeing me talk about Sweet Life. So please give those a shout when you're done with this video. And I also want to know how you guys feel about the ranking videos. Should I do more of these? I'm going to try to cover Drake and Josh, maybe like 1 or 2 other shows to really get a feel for it, but I've started series like this in the past and they didn't really gain a lot of traction, so I'll give this a good 2 or 3 attempts, but considering how hard these specific videos are to make, I think I'm going to wait for audience reception and actually get full feedback on this. So please, don't hold back your opinions or how this video went for you. I really want to make sure this series is cultivated as best as possible. But I really got to base it off what you guys think. So please let me know in the comments, like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for supporting my channel over and over again. I can't believe you guys sit down and listen to me talk for this long. I'm kind of offended, actually, because you use all this time listening to me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for your love and support. Here at Johnny 2000, I'm just so happy to love what I'm doing and get to work with you guys. So until next time, everybody, this is Johnny 2000, and have a great day.